How you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
I have some questions for you.
Oh dear. How exciting.
No, good question.
Good questions?
So the Award of Excellence it's chosen by the ACTRA Toronto Council. Now, as a former counselor, how does it feel to be honored by your peers?
Well, it's kind of incredible because I never really, you don't do things to be recognized. You just do. You don't really think about it. So I remember when David called, and it's funny because you were actually there. Remember, we were doing a show up north.
Up north,
We
yeah.
were doing a show up north, and we were prepping. We were working. And I got the call. I was like, oh, David Gale's calling. I better answer because you'll think there's something wrong. So it's like, oh, no, what's wrong? So I called, and we had a few moments to talk. And then he was telling me that I was chosen for it, and I don't think I really heard him. And I was like, sorry, excuse me? And then he said it again, and I actually almost felt like I was going to cry. I don't know, I felt proud, and I just felt like it's cool when your peers notice that you're trying to do something different and you're trying to help people and trying to kind of change just the current structure for more people to be involved. So I think it was pretty great. I remember talking to him, and I remember coming around the corner, and you were like working away, and I just sat there and like, hey, what's wrong? I'm like, and then I told you, you were like, what? So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it feels great. And it was a great day having my family and friends there. And thank you very much to ACTRA.
I'm glad I was there actually, because I remember you were hesitant to say.
Yeah.
But your body, you couldn't hide it. So I'm like, is everything okay? What is it? And you were like a little schoolgirl.
It was funny.
Adorable. It was adorable.
Well, he said, don't tell anyone. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? How can I not tell anyone? So I'm like, I have to tell you. This is anyone that knows me knows I do this. Hey, I'm not supposed to say anything, but I have to tell you something. So I think I told you and my mom, and obviously my husband, and I think that was it. So I tried to keep it quiet, but yeah, it was great. That was pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah.
What does it mean for you to be an ACTRA member?
Well, I mean, we've got 20,000 plus members, ranging from dancers to background to actors to stunts. It's great. I think Canada's, in terms of post-production and production and just actors and just the high level of stunt performers we have here and stunt coordinators, second unit directors, I feel like this is one of the, this is a hub. This is one of the best places to be, I think, to be in the film industry. I was a proud ACTRA member. I think I've been a member since 90. God, I'm dating myself. Don't ever ask me how old I am on camera.
That's my next question.
God damn it. In the early 90s. So I've been an ACTRA member for a really long time. Proud, super proud to be an ACTRA member and lucky, really. Yeah, we're lucky.
No, for sure. And you're saying mid-90s-ish?
Yeah.
So with all those years of experience, is there like a gig? So is there a stunt that stands out either as a performer or as a coordinator that you've done that always stands out? And has any of that impacted your life?
Interesting. That's a really interesting question, actually. Wow. There's a lot of different things. So let me think of maybe just one. I was out of the country doing a show, and I had to... This wasn't really a stunty thing. It was just kind of a safety thing. We had a huge, what are they called? Like a snowcat. Those huge like wheels are this tall, and so I had to drive a snowcat for this actress because they didn't want her in there. So I had the lead actor beside me. I had to drive the snowcat. So I'm driving the snowcat, and I have to stop it on a mark because just beyond the mark, it was a drop off, like 100 feet or so. So I had to stop it. Fake snow coming down, so the train wasn't slippery or anything. But I can just remember in that moment, I just learned how to drive the snowcat, which isn't really difficult, but things happen. I can remember the actor, Raul Bova was his name, and he looks at me and he's like, he's Italian, so a very heavy accent. He's like, so you know how to drive this thing? And I was like, yeah, it's fine, I'll be good. But he just kept talking to me, and at some point I go, can you just not talk for a moment? And he was like, so I kind of felt bad. But just in that moment, I realized a lot of things. Like, stunt coordinators were great. They had sandbags there, and just, to see where I was going to stop. But just in that moment, I just realized I'm responsible for another person. If I go over the thing, pray to God, maybe I'll be cool. I'm stunts, whatever. I'm on a seatbelt. But the responsibility that I have with this man who has to be in the shot, and he just met me, and he's relying on me to stop where I need to stop. And I think just the gravity of the situation of, what we're responsible for, because of what I was responsible for in that moment, kind of hit me.
And are you saying that's the first time it hit you while you're at work? You're like, wow, I'm responsible for other
Yeah,
people's lives?
it did, because that show was one of the first big shows that I was a lead double on, to have the opportunities to actually do, I think I got my stunt performer reel came from that show. Like, I got to do everything. And, I was still kind of coming out of acting, thinking it was all about me still. And I was a little, so I learned a lot. I think I matured a lot on that show. But yeah, just realizing the responsibility that I had and, just thinking about it.
Oh, it's tough. No, for sure. No, it's huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, can you share any upcoming projects that may be coming out?
I could probably share a little bit about one, but I can't get into details because we'll get in trouble. Because we signed the thing. You signed the thing, right?
Which project?
Robin Hood. You want to talk about Robin Hood?
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. All right, let's talk about Robin Hood. Robin Hood, the classic, has been reborn.
Yeah.
That's the tagline. Robin Hood, any y'all out there that know the gentleman's name used to be Little X when he was doing mostly music videos, but now he is Director X. Director X is responsible for so many iconic music videos. Most recently, I think he's up for an award for, what's a Drake video with all the wives? Anyway, Hotline Bling, just all these videos. Anyway, so X is also a really great director, and he and Chris Roberts, who is his partner and writer in this, they reimagined Robin Hood, and Robin is now Robyn. She's a girl. She looks like me a little bit. Actually, a lot smaller, but she looks like me. Meaning a woman of color, which is great. So, so we got signed on to do stunts on Robin Hood. Chris Mark joined us to fight coordinate. You did a bit of that as well. And, it was a really, it was just an amazing experience to have this diversity in a Canadian Canadian production. So basically, there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of... It's just a really exciting show. It's actually coming out on Global, September 27th. Make sure you tune in and check it out. I could talk about it forever. I really want people just to see it and to understand how important it is to have a Canadian show that has a lot of action, and it's representing just the diverse background that we have here in the city. And this show is set in Toronto. The show is here. It's not trying to look like another city or town. And I think it's just great. We've got some really amazing actors on the show. And I'm just excited for everybody to see it. So September 27th, Robin Hood on Global. Check it out.
Check that out.
Mm-hmm.
When you started up, what career advice would you give your younger self?
That's a really, okay. For the acting, for the performing, or for the coordinating, or for directing?
That's a good twist. Let's go all three. So let's start with the acting. So what career advice would you give yourself starting through acting?
For acting, be yourself. Don't change your hair. Don't try to change too much of who you are to suit what you think the industry wants. A lot of times, especially women of color, people of color in general, even, white people, everyone, you want to change your hair because you think this guy's booked a lot and his hair's a certain way. For women that wear braids or their hair natural or whatever it is, you change your look because you think this is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Guess what they're looking for? They're looking for you and your authentic self. They don't want to have 17 people that look the same. So I would say embrace you and what you look like. Stunt-wise, you know what? It came so easy to me because I was such an athlete. Honestly, truthfully, I would have trained more. I would have trained more, and I kind of stuck to the driving and just fights, and I could act. I could do everything at 70 to 80%. Maybe the driving was more, but I would have, if I came back, I would have trained a lot more just to be more at 100 with more things. So that's some advice there. For stunt coordinating, what would I tell myself? I think I would have started a little bit sooner. I always was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I got a lot of advice saying, nope, get the shows and we'll help you. So I have to say a lot of you in the community really helped me a lot when I started out. They're like, take the shows and we'll help you.
Nice.
So I appreciated that. But yeah, I think I would have went for it a little bit sooner.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
That's great.
well, yeah, I mean, it's like, what, are you ever going to be ready for anything? Like, what does that mean? Like being ready?
Yeah.
I just-
Doing is the
yeah.
best experience for sure.
Yeah.
I really like what you said at the end, the advice to become a coordinator, because a lot of people helped you out. Is that, just because it leads into the next question, is that a reason why you mentor individuals? Is it because you wish someone had guided you more, or is it because you had specific people who actually helped and guided you to a coordinating path?
Both. So I did have help. Matt Berman helped me out quite a bit. Bronco Rocky obviously helps me out. Marco Bianco, Shaq, like everyone, they kind of, pushed and helped. Shelley Cook, a lot of advice. When I was younger and I didn't get her advice, as I got a little older and understood things, totally got her advice, and I always let her know that, how much I appreciated her advice. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't taken to be sat down, go to a meeting, shown how to do a stunt breakdown prop. I wasn't shown those things. I was just allowed to be on the sets and watch and learn, and I was given some advice. So the way that I'm doing it now, exactly, I'm like, because you're part of this movement with the Collective Action Group. What we're doing now, we have a group of people, and it's like, okay, come on, you're coming to a Zoom meeting. So you can sit there in the Zoom meeting and see how a stunt coordinator talks and what they have to talk about. And then you see the breakdown. How do you do it? Then you see the budget. Well, why would I budget this way? And, I'm adding in the rehearsals, and just to actually see it and be in it. So when you're, called upon to coordinate your own shows, you're ready, and you're not figuring it out there.
Yeah.
Because then, setting you guys up to win. And yes, there are specific people that I see something in, and it's hard to describe it. Usually work ethic. And then it's also just their level of stunt performing and what they perform, so they can understand all of the different stunt things. I think a lot of the times, people are either really great drivers, they don't fight that much or haven't done a lot of fighting, or they're mostly just fighters, they don't know a lot about car work. So to try to get some fulsome training so you guys understand all of the different little aspects of it, so then you're just fully prepared and you'll be able to move forward. So yeah, I mean, I just, honestly, out of everything I've done, I love doing this. I love that. I love having the performers on Zooms and bringing them in and teaching them stuff and showing them stuff. And yeah, it's great.
Well, I speak for everyone that you've mentored, and we appreciate it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Because you're very, it's step by step. So then when we get in there, you're always going to get something that catches you off guard, but we're always prepared. So thank you very much. I do appreciate
you're welcome.
That. Is that, I feel like we've talked about this a little bit, but is that how you would want to be remembered in the film industry, or how would you want to be remembered?
Whew.
I feel like
That's such a big...
an Angelica, and then a branch, and then...
Yeah.
Or how would you want to be remembered?
So we always talk about legacy, and every human being can have their own type of legacy, like what you're leaving behind. You have a son, so you're going to have your legacy through that. You'll also have it through work, though. I don't have any children, so, I think about what am I leaving behind. So, yeah, legacy. I just want all of you guys and the people that I'm training to be able to branch off. And then what I'm leaving behind is like the good work you're doing here, and the good work Mariev's doing there, the good work Dylan's doing there, the good work that, that folks are doing. I think that to me is a lot. But honestly, the most important thing, I want people to feel good when they're in my presence. And I want, if somebody's in my presence, I want them to leave either the same as they came in or feeling better or being happier or having maybe a different outlook on something or them being excited about something. I never want someone to leave my presence and not feel good about themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I like it. How do you deal with failure?
You win or you learn. Next question.
I mean, it's always a learning, right? You're always constantly
Yeah,
learning.
I mean, joking aside, next
Yeah.
question, but it's like we're all going to make mistakes. And this is stunts, and, 3, 2, 1 action. You can rehearse, you can practice, you can hire the best people, you can do it all, and things can go wrong. I think the most important thing is how you handle yourself after. And how you recognize if there have been mistakes, or don't call them failures, but just things that don't go as per script, things that don't go according to plan. How do you make yourself better for the next time so that's never going to happen again? Sometimes you can't because it is what it is, but just to own it and to have discussions with your team and your people to just to talk through it and just figure out a way to move from it, and everybody learns from it and move on. Next day, let's go and shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have are you inspired by the same people today than you were when you were coming up? Like, who inspires you now?
Interesting question. I think I'm inspired more by people who are also helping other people. When you're younger, you're inspired by, wow, that actor was great in that movie. I thought that was cool. Or, oh, I like this designer, a model, like just different things. I think I'm inspired by, obviously Oprah was one of the first people that I saw on TV that made me figure out maybe I could be on TV as well, because she looked like me, and I'd never seen anyone else that really looked like me, microphone talking, doing her thing. I'm inspired by, people like Ava DuVernay, who basically her movement, what she's done, she's mentored all of these women of color and BIPOC women to arm them to be able to direct. And I've worked with a bunch of those women that have come through her training, like Demaine Davis, Deborah Kampmeyer. Like, there's a whole bunch of really great women that have come through that. I think there's something to be said about being able to do something and being successful at it, but also being comfortable enough with yourself to be able to share all of that knowledge with someone else and not being worried. I think a lot of the times people don't want to share information or teach people because they think that person's going to take everything now and they're going to be left in the dust. If that's the case, they deserve it. That's fine. That's what you're doing. You're trying to train them to show them everything so they can get their own shows. So I'm just always very inspired by people who are actually kind and are doing that work and like legitimately give a shit about other people and they're helping them.
As it should, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I like it.
Awesome.
Coming up, whether if you're a kid or even today, do you have a favorite genre? Like, what kind of movie or TV show do you gravitate towards as an audience member, not necessarily to work on?
What's really funny is because I'm not a trained martial artist like yourself and a lot of people that we work with. Growing up, anything that I could see that had any kind of fights or action, like I loved anything with Bruce Lee, obviously, and I could talk about Enter the Dragon for hours. There's so many different films that I've seen that I think have made me excited and wanting to go, yeah, that was really cool. Maybe, one day and we can do these things and figure out some fights. I really, really love fights. All of anything action I like. I'm not really that much into rom-coms or drama. I get really bored. I love horror films because I just love gore, and blood flying, and blah. So when we get to
ones are great too.
The cheesy ones are the best. When we get to work on those horror films, it's always great. Yeah, anything horror, anything with action. Also too, I like things with a story. Like we did Clement Virgo's movie Brother, which you worked on as well. And that was just like, that was hard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day being on set, picturing these two young black men, coming of age, and just all the things they had to deal with. And then our actors were so great. So seeing them go through these things on set were difficult. There was one scene where I looked at Clement Virgo and he looked at me. And the last time we looked at each other like that was on Book of Negroes. We had a scene where there were some dummies hanging. And we were out in Shelburne or on the East Coast. And I remember we all came around the corner after lunch because sets were hanging them up. And we walked around the corner, we're all jovial and laughing, and we looked and we saw the bodies hanging. And everyone was kind of like, because that really happened to us. So in that moment, it wasn't really a movie anymore.
Yeah, it hits.
It hits. So we looked at each other and we're almost in tears, and we just moved on. And there was a scene in Brother. We both looked at each other. I'm like, it feels like Book of Negroes all over again. And he's like, yeah, but these are important stories to be told. So we're in this like deep moment, and we're both kind of about to cry. And I looked at him. I go, next movie needs to be about like, female cow wrestlers in Mexico or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go. He's like, yeah, I have to get something happier after this. So we're always depressed when we're together. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That's tough.
That's tough.
But, changing gears a little bit, as a little girl, what career path did you see yourself going into? I feel like I kind of know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
There were a few things. I remember when I was really little, because my grandfather was in the Army, Canadian Forces. So I grew up in a Air Force town. And just all the stories he would tell me, I always thought maybe I wanted to do that. Then I was so bossy, I thought maybe I wanted to be a cop. Kids would be fighting, but stop, bring it up. Like I was always kind of in there. I mean, I was doing everything. I was dancing. I was playing sports. I mean, I really wanted to win gold for Canada in something. I always wanted to do something for my country because I was so athletic. So then getting into track and field, I thought maybe I would be an Olympic, bring the gold home for heptathlon. But then, you're training for it, and you get in there, and you start doing your things, and then you realize a lot of things. Number one, there's absolutely no money in sport. Back then, you could be a carded athlete and be getting like $450 a month or something like that.
That was tough. You had to have like side gigs.
Yeah, you'd have to have side gigs. But I never really knew what I wanted, I think, to be. I just knew that whatever it was, I just always felt like I need to do something with my life. I need to do something great with this life I was given. I've always been the type of person to try to do the best I can at everything. I wasn't just going to, get married, sit around, get a beer belly, eat chocolates all day. And
can't see you doing that.
Nah, not happening.
Yeah. Can't be too,
it's not for me.
Can't see
No, never.
If I can't see you doing that, but where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years?
Oh, I was asking this question. 5 or 10 years.
Five
God willing, I'm still alive. 5 to 10 years. Honestly, sitting back watching all the shows you guys are making.
Yeah, that's honest, yeah.
Like 10 years from now. It's interesting. Nakeem, our mutual friend, who's an actor, we always talk about, he wants me to run a studio. He's like, you need to be running a studio. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's on my radar. We talk about writing our own things, because you write as well. Let's talk about writing our own shows. You're already doing that. To try to put out some content and ideas of things that we want to see or things I'd like to see on screen. So that interests me. Learning to write a bit better, a lot better. And just really directing. I'm just really, I really feel good in that role. I've loved the little bit of second unit directing that I've been able to do the last couple of years. And it's funny, I really enjoy shooting insert shots and things like I thought I would not like it. This glass of water, what happens? A hand comes in, has to pick it up, but we have to match it from something we shot 2 months ago and get the right skin tone and the color. Like, I don't know, something about it. It's just kind of technical, but it's still really interesting. So I'd like to explore and see how far I could go directing.
Well, I see you doing that. Directing a lot more. Yeah, you're great at it.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
No more compliments.
Oh, God, here we go.
You're pretty good at it.
I got to.
You're so hyped up all the time. Like, why are you so hyped up all the time? What gives you so much energy? You wake up, like, ready to go, or Do you have a motivation that keeps you going day after day, but you're always so energetic?
3 things.
Oh, Lord.
Ready?
Oh,
You know one of them.
okay.
Starts with an S, ends with an S.
No idea. Starts with an S, ends with an S. I have no idea.
That's the anyway. Starbucks.
Oh, okay.
They're all trying to get me off coffee because I'm here and then I'm like, it's too much. Okay, guys, somebody get the mats. I'm done. I'm out and I'm grumpy as crap. Yeah, I would have to say it would be an oat shake and espresso in a Tetra cup, but a venti, splash of coconut milk with extra vanilla sweet cream foam. Number 1.
That's so specific.
It is. Number 2, I'm very ritualistic. I do the same thing all the time, eat the same thing, move the same way, wear the same stuff, make my glass here. I wake up in the morning, I get up, I go into my washroom, boom, I hit my music, and I have a playlist that I listen to in the morning. It's the same songs in a row because in my mind, did that playlist, everything, boom, done, had a great day. It's kind of a motivator. Third thing, you know, I ain't got no time to sit around and just, ugh. If I have downtime, I'm sitting there, I feel like a loser. I need to be doing something. It's even hard to sit there and read a book, unless the book is about something that I need for my career or something that like reading a book about, I don't know. I just...
Like writing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like an educational book.
Yes.
I can see that. Okay.
That I can use. I feel sometimes, like when I'm on vacation, and everyone's like, oh, yeah. I'm laying there for a second. Then I get up. I have to do stuff. Yeah. My husband's always like, can we just lay here in the sun and have a drink? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go check this out. I'm going to go get just lay there. Yeah. But what? Just lay there in the sun? No, I have to go. So, yeah, it's just...
Even in Zoom meetings, just...
Yeah.
Because you have so much ideas. I think it's because you have so much content in you.
Yeah.
It needs to come out. So I hope you do continue writing your own stuff and putting them out. Because,
yeah.
Fantastic.
Trying.
Is that, like, what drives you? Because I know you have the energy and you have stuff in you, but what keeps you going day after
Very simple.
day?
To make something of my life.
Okay. So it comes back to that.
I was born, and my mother said, you're going to make something of yourself. And I'm like, I am. My grandfather said, you're going to make something of yourself. I said, yep. So
how old were you?
I am. The first time I think I heard that, I probably got in trouble. There was one time I was being a bad kid. I was always very polite, always very well dressed, very, how I am now. Okay, hello, yes, nice to meet you. Very polite child. Every once in a while, I would get hyped up with some chocolates or some candy, I don't know, and I would just like flip the switch. My poor mother. I remember one day I was running around a car and she smacked my butt and I fell and I tripped over and it was a whole thing. And I remember her saying to me, you can't be a wild kid. You need to make sure that you respect. Like, she just gave me the whole thing about don't mess around. And she's like, you are going to make something great of yourself. Stop doing this.
How old were you?
I don't know, maybe
all that
8 or
say,
9.
Okay, 8 or 9.
Yeah. You do this all the time.
Oh,
we'll be working. He'll ask me something, and I'll say, you'll say, hey, so what time do we need to be at that meeting? I'm like, well, I have to go to my hair appointment first. And then he goes, just tell me what time, woman. Yeah.
2. Oh, okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
I do enjoy working with you. I will say, I really do. What do you do? You work so much, and you give so much, and when you do work, what do you do when you're not working? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
I'm thinking about work and reading scripts.
I'm reading this question, and I'm like, she's constantly working.
And you get an email at 4 a.m. You're like, what the? Hey, what do you think about this? If we try to, you know what? What do I enjoy? Riding my motorcycle, as you know. Yeah. I love riding my motorcycle. I get on my motorcycle. I go. That's one place in time. I'm just beep. That's my happy place, being on that bike and just going. That's kind of all.
Like, are you able to? Are you able to shut your brain off?
No.
And I didn't think so.
Nah, never.
Or, if you're watching a show or a movie, are you able to shut your brain off and not work during, like, while you're watching it? Are you able to just enjoy?
You know the answer to that.
No, you're constantly critiquing or you're learning something. Oh, I love that shot. Yeah. You can't just.
No.
Okay.
Can you?
No.
There you go. No. Next question. Nobody can in this business. No, I don't know if any of you can watch a show that helps make a show and just sit there.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they put the foot.
Yeah.
Did you see the car with the? Yeah. Did you see the skid plate? Mm-hmm. Did you see when she go? Yep, earrings gone, but it was there in the last shot. Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Like it's tough. People hate taking me to the movie theater.
I will say, if that does happen, it's a great movie. That it was able to shut our brains off and just...
Yeah, just to go, wow, that was sick, or that was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the last John Wick.
Yeah, that was
My
a
husband's
lot.
just like,
That was a lot.
my husband's just like, just stop talking. I'm like, I felt like if there was a person in the bubble over there, like to talk through the entire movie would be me. The stair thing. I was just like, oh my God, what the hell? How could he keep going down the stair? Oh my God, is that Jeremy Marinas again? I've already seen him fall 3 times. Like, oh my God, what's that guy? I'm like losing. I had to get pause, need more popcorn, get some water. Like I couldn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to have a whole bottle of wine for that one. Oh, I had so many questions. It was great.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
And just watching the way that they're doing specific things. It's like, yeah, cool, got that, understanding.
Because you're always learning.
You're always learning. Yeah. I always talk about having all these tools in your tool belt, right? That you're going to take to your show or whatever you're doing, all these little things that you love that you pick up. And then you figure out how to, you know, they say, I don't know this, I always mess up this phrase. Maybe you guys can help me with it. Is it something as the best compliment? Not duplicating, but when you...
Let me ask the audience.
Ask the audience.
You
know when you say, what is the thing? If you're doing something and I do the exact same thing you did, I did it, and that's the best compliment. I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Copying is...
Yeah, but what's the word? What's the word? Imitation is the best compliment. Audience member, you get a car. Imitation is the best form of compliment. Right. But don't rip people off. Yeah. You can have an idea that motivates you and you think about, oh yeah, cool, and you kind of use that idea. Just don't rip it off. Don't make it exact. Put your spin on it and make it your thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
In case you haven't been given your flowers, I just want to say a big thank you. We appreciate everything you've done for the community. I appreciate everything you've done for me personally. But yeah, no, I'm out of questions.
Yeah, look at that.
It was a pleasure.
That was awesome. Good job, by the way. Yeah. Is this vodka?